Hello everybody, it's NinjaRailU here, and today I'm going to be answering a question that I've heard asked more times than I can remember, but never thought to answer on here, because actually I don't know. I guess I just didn't think it was a question of interest to the majority of people. However, when looking for questions today, this question by the LU Baker stood out to me. I'd answered him at the time in the comment section, but I thought it might actually warrant its own video. So here goes. What would necessarily qualify me as a dev? How good would I have to be? The answer to this question is, well, perhaps in some ways the least useful answer I've yet given to any question on this channel. It's pretty much that you're good enough when you don't need to ask that question anymore. Before I begin, I should explain that I have been in this community and programming for years, so I can totally relate to this question, and I've often asked myself what it would take for me to be a developer. And from what I just said above, since I'm still asking myself how good I would need to be, I know I'm not ready. But what am I really going on about? Well, the point about writing a server for LEGO Universe is the fact that there aren't any tutorials anywhere. Brooks Law, the most commonly cited reason that servers weren't joining forces, states that adding developers to a project doesn't necessarily make development progress any faster. It certainly can in some cases, and in the case of DLU's recent progress, I would definitely say it has. But in general, this is not the case. So why is that? Most often, it becomes a question of how well someone knows the codebase. If you're a programmer, you'll probably have had the experience at some point of opening up code you wrote a year ago and having literally no idea how any of it works. There are definitely ways to avoid this, but it highlights a problem, which is that code is often not instantly readable and understandable. It takes time to familiarize yourself with a code base and to understand other people's logic. And if you're wondering whether or not you would be able to do so, it suggests you probably haven't in the past. And LEGO Universe server projects are really unlikely to be the best place to start, given the fact that they often have to interact with lots of old code, which makes this challenge a lot harder than it needs to be. Then there's the other challenge. LEGO Universe Reconstruction is not just a question of writing a new program or game. It's like being given a black box with two holes in it, an input and an output, which is nearly impossible to look inside. All you know is that putting certain things into the box throws other things out. Your task is to write a program which throws the right things in and gets the right things out. The box isn't totally opaque, and there are definitely pieces of information which you have to help you, but most of it you have to do entirely on your own, and you have to work out painstakingly what the box does without any clues. So this is the essence of what makes working with LU so difficult. Aside from that, there's simply a huge range of general knowledge which it helps to have. Although people are helpful and you can build it up as you go along, LU has many different systems, how these series of systems will interact. And this is the reason I mentioned Brooks Law, because no developer wants to take the risk of training someone up. In the present, it's just taking up time they could be spending working on the server, and although it might provide a boost later on, there's the huge likelihood that the individual's personal life will preclude them from working on the project, or that, having been shown how to do everything so far, they'll become accustomed to that and require lots of time-consuming hand-holding in times to come. Therefore, it's just really not worth the risk, and so in general, developers of closed-source projects, so now basically just DLU, require a lot of evidence that you know what you're doing when it comes to LU systems, can handle yourself in a codebase, and basically require proof that you'll be more of a help than a hindrance to the project. In other words, if you want to work on LU, you should be really confident in your skills and that you're driven enough that you'll be able to go it alone and work on a project without help. And doing this is the best way to demonstrate to developers that you're exactly the sort of person that they want to join them. But we've got a problem here. They want proof that you're good on working at a project before letting you onto their project. How can that work? How can you build up the skills to work on DLU without being a member of DLU? Well, this is the reason why open source projects are a godsend. Literally anyone can download and edit Uchi, for instance, and so it provides a perfect way for you as this promising new developer to showcase your abilities. Or, if you're just getting used to how everything works, to learn a little bit. Those of you who have seen my outdated channel banner on certain devices will see that I claim to work on JLUS. As I said, this is an outdated banner, but it certainly was true. Probably about 2 years ago, Tracer decided to get some new developers onto JLUS to help speed things up. This isn't exactly the same as a public project such as Uchu, but it acted in pretty much the same way for me. I had the source code, had to work out how to run it, and what changes to make. I looked through what documentation we have as a community, which can be found on lu-docs.readthedocs.io, which told me about a game message, things sent from the game to the server, which allowed a user to change gravity. However, in order to implement this, I had to make a new command, which led me to cleaning up the command system, which threw me on a completely different track, and many various things. In all of this, I was slowly gaining more information. I may not have managed to add gravity, but I was learning about components and the various subsystems within LU, and it began to teach me what sort of things go into a server. Since then, I've been very interested in client modding, for instance, which has led me to working with the cdclient.fdb database and learning a lot more of all this stuff. I'm still not a great developer, I'm not going to pretend to be one, and no, I'm not good enough to actually work for any of the projects. But that doesn't detract from how great an experience this was and how much better I've become with working on LU server's code. Now, it's even better. Uchu exists and has scripting which exposes various components of the server in an easy to access way. So you can literally see what's going on and which you can use as a kickstarter to working on an actual server. You can start work on Uchu, build up your skills, and then, maybe given time, join DLU or something like that. And recently we've had some perfect examples of this. A user, Mick, who used to work on Uchu, had like one commit on it, has recently come back into the community and has started work on it again. This is someone who hasn't been a member of the community for years, hasn't seen any of this stuff I've seen, but he's confident enough as a programmer to just get stuck right in, and this is brilliant. I hope this doesn't all put you off working on LU servers, because we need developers. Developers are what make this community work. So don't take this as me putting you off. Take this as it doesn't matter if you have a ton of experience. I managed to learn most of the necessary stuff, and I am no specialist in programming servers. So you can all do it. I recommend taking a look at Uchu, just spending. It will take a lot of work. It's not easy, but if even a few of you who watch this video do it, it will be worth it, and hopefully we'll get more people like Mick just joining the community and suddenly working really hard on a server. So back onto script. I guess that's the answer. You'll know when you're ready to join a dev team, because by the point at which you're ready to join and they'll want you to join, you've proven you have the drive and ability. You'll already have the experience that you know you could program a server with or without them. And if you're left thinking, well, this is stupid, I'd just be duplicating their work if I set up a new server, then make sure you're doing something new. DLU have said many, many times they don't want new people to just write a new server. In fact, there's a meme in the development channel basically saying, don't write a new server, program your own game. But Winton's behavior system was far enough of DLU's that by the time he joined them recently, he was able to implement many of the same features extremely quickly onto their server, and it really showed in their code. So yeah, if you're asking this question at the moment, it definitely means you have further to go, but here's the way forward. Download Uchu, go to ludocs.readthedocs.io. I'll put that link in the description, in the comments, somewhere, everywhere, hopefully. Boot up a debugger, look into the game, and just keep going. Ask if you need help, but always make sure you've tried yourself first, enough that you know exactly what the problem is if someone does choose to help you. And remember, no one's obligated to help you set up your server. There are lots of nice people who might, but everyone's doing it because they choose to, and they're taking time out of their day to do it. I say this because repeatedly people join the server, help people out for a couple of months, and just get burnt out by the number of questions. And this is the reason why we don't commonly have a channel just dedicated to helping people with servers. So make sure that you've done your research into what's going on. If you've done that, people will be happy to help you. You won't be wasting their time. And if you keep doing that, keep researching into the game, keep trying to implement new things, just keep learning, and your chances of becoming a dev are actually pretty decent. It's just that most people never get that far. And so for those of you thinking it's too difficult, well, you're sort of right, it is really hard. So remember to spread the word as to how hard it is. If you think you personally can't do it, remember that the devs have. They've done this. And remember to tell people how much you appreciate it. I know I, for one, could not do it. I've looked into tons of this and it's just made me realize more. I can't do it. They've done some amazing things, and learning about how everything works has only made me appreciate that more. So with that said, I've been IntroValU. As always, developer channels are in the description. Subscribe to them, show them how much you support and appreciate their work. And with that out of the way, thank you all very much for listening. Thanks to the LU Baker for submitting this week's question, and I hope to see you all around. And in a bit of a PS, as I'm writing this, I'm on 498 subscribers. Vaisky has made promises to some people about something I will publish when I reach 500 subscribers, and I feel I have no self-esteem anyway, so I'm going to be publishing it. Yeah, you have that to look forward to, I guess. Bye.